Go record. Hi everyone, welcome to Becoming Me TV with Maria McGrath. We are here talking to women who are going through or have broken through their emotional baggage to get back to being their true and authentic self, okay? They've broken free of their past emotional pain. They've broken free of the BS mindset, the limiting beliefs that are holding them stuck. And today I am talking to the beautiful Donna, and she is in Cairns, I think, at the moment. Is that right, Donna?
Yep, beautiful sunny Cairns.
Beautiful sunny Cairns. So, Donna, tell us a bit about your story. Where were you? What was going on with your life before you sought out Creatrix?
Well, I had a multitude of things going on, Maria, that I wasn't able to get through myself. I had made a little bit of progress with different things that I've tried, but I kept falling back into the same cycles of depression, not thinking I was good enough, thinking that maybe I wanted to kill myself. I was having severe bouts of anorexia and bulimia. I had post-traumatic stress disorder from some serious traumatic experience that I've experienced over the last couple of decades. It was just shit after shit after shit. I felt like I was never good enough. I always felt like I couldn't do what I needed to do. Everything I tried, I felt inadequate. And so I would try things and then I would fail or self-sabotage myself. And I'd just sit around procrastinating about all the amazing things I could do, but I wouldn't actually get around to doing it because I was scared of failing, or I was scared I didn't have what it took, and I didn't really believe myself or back myself back then.
Yeah. And what other things had you tried up until that point?
Well, I tried, I guess, standard therapies like some counselling, and I'd tried some psychic mediums, and I'd tried landmark education, which is a pretty phenomenal program. I tried reading, I think, more than 50 personal development books. I started working back through genetics, and I was sort of interested in that and realising that my mum and my grandmother and a lot of other people in my family had been struggling with some similar things. So I was starting to research and trying, I guess, to do a lot of it on my own. I tried bushflower essences, and although, like I said, programs that I used helped a little bit, I just found myself slipping back all the time and still found that I had this dark cloud hanging over me that I just couldn't shift.
Yeah, okay. And then you come to me, we started the process of the breakthrough. We went through working out and identifying a lot of those blocks and beliefs. We got a list together, and then we started session 1. Did you notice a difference straight away?
I think there was a very mild change of positivity. Like, I felt like there was a little bit shifting. However, at that stage, it was still too early to tell for me.
Yeah, because there was a lot of stuff and a lot of deep things, and it's an unlayering and an unraveling process, isn't it? That you can feel it.
I mean, we just scratched the surface in that first session. Yeah.
So tell me about the complete breakthrough. You know, we had 3 sessions, 4 sessions, and 3, yeah. And at that last session, we only did a couple because you said, "Oh my God, what did you feel? Can you remember?"
Oh, I just felt this release and this relief and this sense of I can let go of all that stuff. And it just, like, I could actually feel the breakthrough, and I could feel the cutting of the ties of the conditioning, and I could feel that string or whatever it was that was holding on to me just literally dissolve. I felt it.
You felt it.
And I felt my body language change. You said you saw it in my face and the way my body changed. And ever since then, I've held myself different. I even when I find myself, because I've always hunched my shoulders and that because of the poor feelings and the sadness and the trauma, and I even now, like, I push my shoulders back all the time and I hold my head high and I feel proud and confident, and whenever I find myself slipping back, I just get out of it. I just pushed myself out of it. Whereas I wasn't able to do that before. I just would just walk around with this big, heavy feeling over me, and I wasn't able to look people in the eye properly. And now I love it. I smile at everyone.
Yeah.
And I look and I feel proud of the accomplishments and of who I am.
Yeah, yeah. You find that, you know, it's easier to when you start to slip, to pull yourself back, because you've got that inner wisdom, that those resources that we downloaded there. Do you think that's what keeps you being able to stand back up when things may get you down?
Absolutely. And I had an incident recently where I thought my mum was going to pass away. Shockingly, that was a real shock. And I got through all that quite easily. And the old me wouldn't have been able to. The old me would have been just a bucket of tears who just wouldn't been able to cope. And I had my moments, but I came through it really well. I didn't get stuck in trauma again, and didn't get stuck in my emotional baggage and burdens.
Yeah. So tell me about what you're doing now, because you packed up and went travelling. Tell me about how life is now. What has it been, 6 months since Creatrix?
Yeah, 6 months. And literally, I think, was barely 4 weeks after I completed Creatrix. I had completely packed up my life, me and my beautiful partner. I bought a camper trailer and a 4-wheel drive, and it's something I've wanted to do for a long time, is travel up north to North Queensland. And I just decided to do it. I just didn't go, well, have you got enough money, or are you going to cope, or what about your grandkids, or what about this, or what about that, and it's risky, and what happens. I didn't have any of those stories anymore. I just went, but what if you've missed out on life? What if you have fun? What if, you accomplish it and you do it with grace and ease? Like, why don't you look at the bright sides? That's what I did, and that was 5 months. And we're loving it, and we're just loving it, because it's different every day. I'm a gypsy at heart, and I think since Creatrix I've started living the way I've wanted to live, and thought, because I was unorthodox, that I, have just been sitting in the one place, but not being happy. So now I do what I want to do on my terms, and it's not perfect, and things don't always go to plan, but I can cope with it.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. So what would you say to all of those people who were in the place where you were, I can't do it now, it's not the right time, I don't have the money, blah, 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 all the excuses that we have? What would you say to them?
Well, I think, now that my heart and my mind is at peace, I realise more and more every day that we only do have today. And it's something my mum's always said to me, tomorrow is a gift. And I don't think much about tomorrow. I'm a bit of a today girl, and I always say to myself now, well, what can you do today to make your life good? Because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so there's no point worrying about it.
That's right.
But I had a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety before Creatrix, and I can catch myself now if I hear those stories again and just say, I know what that is, and I don't have to buy into that. And I can choose positive actions that are going to help me to live an amazing life, whereas before I was choosing actions that were bringing me down. Yeah. And I just want to say to anyone who's contemplating doing it is that, honestly, you won't know until you do it, but I can honestly say, having gone through the experience, is that it's one of the most phenomenal and best presents and gifts I ever gave myself. Yeah. And I have to also be really honest, because I've had some pretty hard core relationships happening in the last couple of decades that I haven't been able to manage to repair, and me and my daughter have never gotten along since the day she was born. She's always been very hard, and her and I have rekindled that relationship since Creatrix, and she's even telling people, and she's so excited because she has a mum for the first time in her whole life.
Oh, that's amazing. That's beautiful, Donna. Yeah. Fantastic. Really cool. Yeah. And you're able to have an open heart for anything that comes your way, where before, because there was so much noise, you tend to shut down, don't you?
Yeah, I did. I did shut down a lot because I had a lot of rejection and a lot of burdens. And I think the world can make you quite hard when your heart's been broken a lot.
Yeah.
And I've freed all that up with Creatrix, and I've become softer and more gentle with myself, which
Yeah.
has allowed me to now share that with the people around me, and they can feel it.
Yeah.
There's a huge change in me, and even if they don't have to say it, they can feel it, and that's the ultimate. You can feel that change in someone. And like I said, I'm wanting to dress different. I'm doing things. I'm wearing nail polish, and I've never wear nail polish. I'm searching, honestly, Maria. I'm actually searching for things to have in my life that I've never searched before.
Yeah.
All because I denied myself before.
Mm.
The normal things that a woman would want in her life, I was denying myself because of all that baggage. And now I'm like, I want to go and get my hair done. I want to get my nails done. I want to get massages, and all these things that I've put off and never really treated myself.
Yeah.
And now just a part of my life. And I love it.
Mm. Completely different way of living, of being. It's a freedom, would you say?
It is. It is a freedom. I actually feel like I have a choice now. As before, I guess it's like you said, that there's a conditioning, and we're just living off the back of our parents and our grandparents and society, and not realizing that decisions we are making are really not our decisions. They're somebody else's. And now I'm consciously realizing that in every given moment of my day, I get to choose. I get to say yes, or I get to say no.
Yeah.
And it's the most empowering experience to realize, I have that choice, that freedom to make a decision that's right for me.
Yeah.
And not feel guilty, not feel ashamed, and not
Yeah.
feel burdened by that feeling of needing to people please. I don't have to have that feeling anymore. I've let go of that totally. And I'm not carrying other people's burdens. I was very good at that before, of carrying everybody else's problems for them, trying to fix them and to make life easier for them. And now realizing, well, that's their journey, it's not mine, and they've got to carry their own crap.
Yeah.
We've all got enough of our own. Why do we want to carry someone else's? Even if we have children or parents. I'm honestly, I'm so mature about it now with my emotions, and so emotionally resilient that I can even say to my own kids, well, look, I feel for you. However, what are you going to do? How are you going to fix your situation? I don't feel the pressure to have to fix their problems for them. I know that they're big enough to sort them out for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that was a big issue before, was feeling responsible to have to solve everybody else's issues, to be there
Totally.
and carry that.
I'm the oldest child in my family, and my dad had a lot of baggage, and my mum had major suicidal depression, which I didn't know growing up, but of course I would have felt it in living in that household. And so I took on all their emotional baggage, and it all became too much. So it's not too much now. I take things quite well in my stride, but I also know I don't have to take things on either. I can choose how much I take on.
Yeah.
Whereas before I just took it all on.
Yes.
And burning out and breaking down and getting sick. And I don't get sick ever. I mean, I haven't been sick, I don't think, once since I've seen you and done Creatrix. I don't think I've had a sick day. Because I'm just so...
Yeah. After the first session, you were very sick. Because like you were saying, you were sick quite a lot. Because there was. It's so heavy, isn't it? That all that emotion when it's in your body, it is so heavy, isn't it?
It is. It's like carrying around a 6-piece luggage set that's full of clothes. And it just, you think to yourself, well, how did I carry that around every day? No wonder life was hard. And that's the thing, life isn't hard anymore. In fact, I go out of my way to make life easy and simple for me. Whereas before, it was like I was conditioned to make life hard for myself. And I took the route that made life hard for me. But that was because of my conditioning. That's what my mum was taught. That was what my grandmothers were taught. And so that's what I started to do. But once you gave me that freedom of choice, it's like I don't have to do life hard, and I don't have to feel guilty for wanting an easy life.
Absolutely. We somehow have got to a place where we just expect it to be that way, and we don't actually know that there's any way that's different. And I'm so glad you said that, because I see people living it the hard way, and I want them to know that there is a better way, isn't there? And it's so...
There is always a better way. And you know what I do now? Every day I tweak my life to make life a little bit better. And every day it's this little tweak of just how can I evolve, how can I make my life better, and put me in the position that I want to be. And there's still evolving stuff happening every day, growth happening every day. But that's what I love about this journey, is that it's never over, and that's the beauty of it. Is that you unravel so much of it with Creatrix, but you just keep moving forward in this evolvement that you do for the rest of it. But you embrace it all. Yeah. And the triggers come up, you face it with a level of maturity and resilience and understanding, without the blame, without the criticism, without the negativity. And so relationships improve. Work improves. I haven't wanted to work for more than 4 years because I was so sick and I didn't feel like I was of benefit to anyone. Yeah. And now I actually want to help people. I know that I've got value. I know that what I offer has value, and I don't have to feel insecure about it anymore.
Absolutely. I was going to bring up, I've seen you on your Facebook page sharing this newfound happiness and joy and peace and contentment with other women. You're on there doing Facebook Lives all the time, sharing your beautiful smile. It's just so peaceful and free, and you can't help but be happy when you see you doing a live.
Yeah, and I have a lot of people say to me, they're drawn to me and they'll say, you've just got this calming sense about you. And I love hearing that, because I felt the opposite of that. I mean, I've always been a very caring person. However, I had this baggage that stopped me from really, I suppose, going deep with that. And now it's like all that's out of the way, and if it's not, I just push it out of the way. And it's like, and I say to myself, the biggest gift I've been given is my smile. And now, since Creatrix, I use it everywhere I go. I look at everyone, I smile. I look at them in the eye, I smile. I look at strangers all the time and smile. And I love it when you get that little smack back. Like, notice me. And I'm like, I was so busy hiding away from the world before Creatrix.
Eyes down.
Notice me.
Yeah, I used to walk around with the eyes down, looking at my toes all the time, and then that was the first thing I did, was look up and smile at everybody.
It's just a pleasure to be able to pass that on to other people just through that small gesture.
Absolutely, yeah.
I get a lot of pleasure out of it, because that makes my day, because I know it's made their day in some way just by me noticing them. And I've even had gentlemen say to me, who are lonely. You can pick people who are lonely, and they'll say, thank you for smiling. Thank you for saying hello. And it's like small gestures. Make
a huge difference. So, Donna, just quickly, because everything you've said here has been absolutely amazing, what would you say to someone who's out there watching this and going, I don't know if this is it. I don't know if it'll work for me. I'm not sure if this is what I should do.
I just have to say, you need to say yes and let it all unfold, because it will work for you. There's absolutely no doubt it will work for you. And there's no reason why you can't have the same benefits and releases that I've had. And, there's the saying in Bali that says, those who hesitate die. Because when you're in traffic in Bali, and I've done that, I was there 2 years ago and on the back of a scooter in Bali in peak hour traffic. And it's like that. Just go, don't hesitate, don't think about it, because those who hesitate die, and in another world, those who hesitate miss out. And if I had hesitated that day, I would have missed out. Except I didn't. Went for it, and said, something inside of me said, this is what you've been looking for, and go for it. And I did, and honestly, I've never looked back, and I won't. every day is a new day of possibilities now for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm talking big now. Like, I'm talking about the possibility of moving to Sydney. I'm talking about, you know, maybe one day living in Bali for a period of time. I mean, those are things you just would never do before Creatrix. You're too busy living a small life to think further than your own, you know, your own comfort zone.
Yeah.
So when you go through Creatrix and come out the other side, you realise that your life has been so small, and then you start to expand out, well, what's now possible for me?
Yeah.
And, you know, I used to say things like, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. And now I just would never say that. That word can't is just totally banned from my vocabulary, and going, well, what if you could do that? And what if you could only do it for 6 months? Well, who are you going to become as a result of that 6 months of it? It's not even the term, it's not how long even, it's just having the experience of putting yourself somewhere that you would never have dreamt of doing before.
And not having that fear just hold you back and stop you.
Because you realise if it doesn't work out, you just make a new decision and change your life again.
Yeah.
It's not, you're never stuck. That's just a thought.
Yeah, it is. And a controlling one too, isn't it? It's got so much power, but now it's got none.
None. Absolutely none. I mean, the world now just seems like, I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem scary, and it doesn't seem that big. It just seems like it's mine, and it always was mine. The world was mine. I mean, when you're 3 or 4 years old, you've got the world at your feet. Everyone's throwing everything at you. And I feel like I've gone back to that place. I've got so much joy in my heart, and I share it, and I feel like a little girl, and my art reflects that some days, and then other days I feel more mature, so I reflect that in my art, and I just reflect and express who I am in the moment now, whereas before I was so busy hiding the negative and, I guess, critical aspects of myself, thinking that nobody would love me if I showed that. Whereas now I just want to express it all. I embrace it all. I know that to be a whole person, you have to embrace it all. Yeah. And you've got to love it all, totally love it all. And on those days where you're not as perfect as you say you were yesterday or whatever, they're days where you'll express yourself in a different way, but that's still helpful. It's all helpful. You don't have to look at anything bad. It's actually all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. That it brings joy to me to hear all of this that you're living now. And I know that, you know, going through this gave you a completely different path, a completely new clarity of what you wanted and where you wanted to go and how you were going to live your life. And you are just so free, and I can see your spirit just shining through, and that is an absolutely awesome thing to see. Thank you so much for getting on here and chatting with us. Is there anything you'd like to say last? I know that I'd just like to tell anyone who's watching that Donna and I, we did the Creatrix Breakthrough via Zoom, like how we're doing this conversation right now. So it doesn't matter where you are location-wise. This works, doesn't it?
It totally does. And, you know, it's really put a new spin on my own business, because as a counsellor and health and wellbeing coach, I do all of my consultations now via phone. And I have so much progress and accomplishments for people just because of the sound of my voice, and my heart travels through that phone. Yeah. So I've realised that I can still travel and have clients. Like, I don't have to be face to face, and that's opened up doors for me too, Maria. Yeah. And with technology now, we're just honestly a phone call or a Zoom meeting away from each other. And that's the beauty of this whole package, is that you could be anywhere in the world and still access your services. Yeah. You know, people can be on the other side of Australia or the other side of the world and access my services. And Absolutely. It's so brilliant. But if you've got that belief behind you that you don't actually have to be in the same room as someone to help them, then anything's possible. You know, Absolutely. And I help my daughter every day on the phone. She'll call me with some aspect of her life that she needs help with. And I don't have to be there and feel guilty for not being in her life every day, but I am via phone and video. So it's like I'm there. So it works. You just got to connect, you know, and let the energy do the rest, because it does. It all works.
It all works. Well, if you ever do head to Sydney, you know that you're going to have to, you'll be closer to me, so we'll be able to catch up.
God, yes. So yes, well, we've got lots of contacts down there, and
Yeah.
we will head south in the next, maybe even in the next week. We'll slowly start heading south. So we were thinking of going to Darwin, but things have changed a bit, and some opportunities may be coming up in Sydney for us. So we're like, why not look at it? You know, like, what have we got to lose by giving it a go?
Living life as it should be. Yeah.
Right. It's called living. You know,
Yeah.
there's so many people don't take a risk because they're scared of what's on the other, or they're scared of failure or what's on the other side. Where I'm the opposite. I don't mind if it doesn't work out, because I'm like, who am I going to become as a result of having gone through that? That'll strengthen me. That'll give me more confidence. That'll grow me like nothing ever has. So I jump in. I don't hide away from anything.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Donna, that is exactly why I called this series of interviews Becoming Me, because it is a journey that just continues. You know, Creatrix has been the first step for you, and every day since then has been a journey to here you are now, and that's going to continue.
Totally. And I, you know, I surprise myself every day with the new ways I think. And it is all about, you know, this new mindset. And I'll be honest, it's taken me a little while to adjust to it, because it's like I've gone from depressant to not wanting to leave the house to now having all this vitality and energy and smiling to going, well, where am I going to put this? Like, it's just almost bewildering for a while, because you actually are a transformed person.
Yeah.
You are a new. I mean, I got my hair cut last week, all off, and I've been wanting to do that for years, and I've never had the guts to do it. And here I am doing things. I'm like, well, what have I got to lose? Grow it back. I mean, the old me would have wanted to let go of it in case, you know, I didn't like it, or what would people think, you know, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just like, just do it.
Just do it. I can see your beautiful earrings now.
I know. You know, and again, I think it actually accentuates my smile, because I don't have all, you know, fluffy, frizzy Cairns hair, humidity hair going on. So, you know, like, it's just have a go. You know, try a new wardrobe. Go talk to someone you've never talked to before. You know, just all the different things you could tackle or have a go at, or venture out and try a new hobby or something that's going to get you out of your own way and into a new world.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Donna. It is such an honour to have worked with you, and I love seeing that you're doing so well, and I hope that we will catch up if you get down to Sydney and we can have that big hug that you know, we've been doing.
Yeah, you just reminded me of where you live. Yeah. Awesome. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for getting on here and sharing your story. And I'm hoping that it'll help other women change their life as well.
Yeah, well, for me now, all I want to do is, whether it's my posts on Instagram or Facebook or a meeting with someone, I just want to add value to other people's lives.
Yeah, me too. That's the point of it, isn't it? Yeah,
that's how we live.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Donna, for sharing that.
No worries.